Hey, what's up? What's good? What's going on? It's your girl, Mary Jane. Please like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart, my peace, my peoples. So I got the auto and I got the camera on at the same time. There's a lag. It's going slow. I keep trying these different programs and it's really not acting too well. So I don't know if I can continue to have it all grainy and all missing steps. I can't stand it. So, anyways, thank you to all my peeps, my peoples that like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate everyone that subscribes, share the videos, and, got my back because I got your back too as well. So, we're going to be talking about Usher. So, there's a story about Usher on TMZ today about, Usher actually, lawyers filing, some doctrines or whatever. So it goes, Usher just fired back at the two women and men who claim he exposed them to genital herpes, and he says it's all BS. So Usher's saying that it's not true. He did not expose them, I guess. So and it goes, Usher legal team just filed a response to the California herpes lawsuit. He denies everything, specifically their claims he had sexual contact with them, and he claims he exposed them to herpes, claims that he exposed them to herpes. So basically Usher is saying that, he filed the documents with the court. His attorney saying that he did not have sexual contact with any of these people at all, period. And so that's one point that they're probably using in the case, saying that because when they probably did the 90-day discovery, there's probably no way, shape, or form where they can put Usher in the same place at the same damn time with these defendants, these plaintiffs that are accusing Usher of infecting him with herpes. And he also claims that he did not expose them to herpes. And so that means Usher's basically saying that they didn't get herpes from me at all. So I don't know where they got herpes from. I don't know if they do have herpes, but they did not get the herpes from me. And so let me just read that again. It says, especially their claim he had sexual contact with them and the claim he exposed them to herpes. So he's actually stating that he has not exposed them to herpes at all, and he hasn't had sexual contact with them at all. So that's very bold if this is actually in the legal documents. We don't know. This is just what, the media sites are reporting. So anyways, it says one of the women, Mrs. Shopton, said in a news conference with her lawyer, Lisa Bloom, that she did not contract herpes when she allegedly had sex with Usher after celebrating her 19th birthday at Usher's concert. But she claims he exposed her to the STD. So, we already know about that. We know Mrs. Shopton has been out here doing interviews, which, Usher should thank, the last person I did to interview with Mrs. Shopton was, I believe, Mrs. Jacob Kohainor. And basically with that interview, she's Mrs. Sharpton's talking about that, she has video footage, her lawyer subpoena, get an affidavit for the days end, footage and all that other stuff, and saying that she believes Usher knew that, she was videotaping him. So all that stuff together basically just really kind of like throws out her case, especially if she doesn't have the evidence, because the judge will be seeking that evidence. The court will be seeking that evidence she claimed that she has to the public, because actually she is defaming, Usher Raymond's name if this is not actually true, and he can turn around and sue her as well. And also, he might be able to go after Lisa Bloom with this. And also with this situation, I believe, I have to go look at some of my videos or search the web, that Lisa Bloom said all three cases were connected. So if Cortisha lawsuit gets thrown out, does the other two lawsuits get thrown out, which is another woman and a man? And so we'll see about that situation, see if Cortisha's case get thrown out, does theirs get thrown out as well, and will they have to prove more evidence, since it seems like a farce, it seems like a scam with the Mrs. Shopton's claims of allegedly having sex with Usher, and is saying that he exposed her doing these interviews, her family members coming out, her friends coming out online and saying different things about her and exposing her as well. So we'll see what happens with that that situation, but also with her interview that she just recently did a couple of days ago, it also kind of exposes that she does have mental illness and she has problems. And so maybe that could be a defense for her when Usher decides to come after her or not, because, the video that she did saying that she had the videotape of Usher saying that, and he said it was okay for her to film him having sex with her and things like that. And speaking upon his marriage, but he wasn't married at the time, and saying that she wants him to go to jail and this type of things that she was saying. Then she also alluded that, she chased after Lisa Bloom to, take on her case, and she wanted to be the face of the case and everything. Like, the other people wanted to remain anonymous, but she didn't. She wanted to take on this, So it could actually show that she don't really understand anything when Usher's attorneys do come after her. But it's kind of like very embarrassing to see this woman paraded around on all different websites, different memes, and talking about you. Like, I know Usher, when he seen that interview, he was so embarrassed that this woman was sitting on the phone, just sitting there, just lying, through her teeth, and there are pathological liars out here. Some of you guys may know pathological liars, people that will lie for just any reason, for just any type of attention. Quatisha, whatever her name is, Shopton, she talked about, being adopted, being in the foster care system and things like that. So she does have an issue with being abandonment issues and things like that. So you could see why she's out here seeking attention, which is very sad because she's only 21 years old. But this is thinking that, whether it's good or bad attention, it to her is attention. So like, if you ever worked with abused people, abused children, they don't care what type of attention that you give them, as long as some type of attention, whether if you're attacking them, restraining them, or if you are being mean and rude, or you're being really nice, they don't care. They just need some type of attention, some type of affection. They have to know that they're important or they stand out. And this woman is raising a child, so she really does need help. And and this is going to stick with her for the rest of her life, and it could financially cost her. It also could cost her her freedom if it's exposed that everything is a manufactured lie, which it will be. And but it's up to Usher to go after her, because of all the people accusing Usher of herpes, she stay in the media. So he might just go right after her, and also go after Lisa Bloom, because as an attorney, you're supposed to do some type of research. You don't supposed to just go around with frivolous lawsuits. And when Lisa Bloom was looking for clients who possibly may slept with Usher, like ambulance chaser, like an infomercial, Cortisha called the case. I mean, she called her because she saw Black China. That's what she said on the interview, and she said she wanted to just stand up and stand out. So we'll see where this goes. And then also the other woman from Georgia, her picture is in my her picture is in the pictures that are showing up on the image display box or whatever. She was with, what's her name, Angie Stone. And when Angie Stone went to talk to Young Jock and Shorty, what my name is Shorty. So when Angie Stone was saying that this girl didn't want to come after Usher, and also saying that it was her assistant that stole the information, like all that kind of stuff that she exposed, could also have, one of the reasons why Usher is stepping forward to dismiss these cases, because now he's probably realizing, I don't even know these chicks. I have no idea what they're talking about. And so we'll see if that is really the case, where this 90-day discovery, that it took them less than a week, because I thought they was going to come back in January. But with the recent interviews, like with Angie Stone giving an interview about this woman, and also with Cortisha on Mrs. Jacob Kohino's show, actually probably just increase the time where they didn't need to even go to wait for the 90-day discovery, because it was just too much proof that these people are lying, or it was too much, they discovered too much about them where they can just have this case thrown out. So we'll see if that is actually the case. But usually you don't do interviews and you don't say anything, period, if your case is pending, especially without an attorney or someone that's on your legal team next to you. So whatever you say cannot be used against you in a court of law. So what they have said possibly have a lot of legal standing in the court, especially because this is not a criminal case, this is a civil case, and you don't need that much evidence, or you don't need that much evidence to have a case thrown out, because it basically really does come out to the rule of law and plain common sense. Look at me. So anyways, I bet my camera is just all messing up because I'm online too as well. It's getting on my nerves. So anyways, with that, the rest of the paragraph says Usher through his lawyers also raised a interesting argument. The three plaintiffs cannot win because they have unclean hands. So basically, his attorney's saying they have unclean hands. So they're using multiple defenses. The first defense was Usher never had sex with them. He had no type of form of sex with them, period. And, he hasn't had sex with them, period. And he did not give them herpes. Like he said, he had no sexual contact with them, and he didn't expose them to herpes. So that's one argument that he's using. They're going to use multiple arguments so the judge could just really throw the case out. So it says unclean hand doctrine is basically that allows the defendant to defeat the plaintiff's claim against them. Under the unclean hand defense, the defendant would argue that the plaintiff is not entitled to relief because they have committed some sort of wrongdoing or are themselves liable for an offense. And so basically they must have did some wrongdoing, basically saying they probably gave out too much information that contradict what they're saying, that says that they are lying. And also them just having unprotected sex without asking, does the person has any type of disease? That's one thing. And also if Usher didn't know he had herpes or not, and so he did not purposely affect him. So they're using a lot of different legal terms and legal doctrines to get this case thrown out. So so it says, in other words, the plaintiff cannot obtain a remedy because their hands are unclean. So the doctrine is also known as the clean hand doctrine or the dirty hand doctrine. The unclean hand defense is only available in claims involving forms of relief. These forms are of relief involving the court ordering the defendant to perform some sort of action. Some example of equitable remedy or injunctions and specific performance. The unclean hand argument is not available in cases resulting in legal damages, not available in claims for monetary awards. So, but this doctrine the unclean hand doctrine can only be used, only the defendant can use this to say that, the plaintiff has done something wrong, has wrongdoing. And basically that's what Usher's throwing out. And there's probably more things that, Usher's legal team has that, could say that they're unclean. They might have got some of their medical history, their medical records that could have said that they have been tested for multiple STDs over a period of span, and they've been taking medication, or they have never been tested, they just got tested. So who knows when they was actually initially infected. And so basically, especially if they have any mental health issues, where it says that they live a risky lifestyle, they go out and have sex with multiple people. Sometimes when you sit with a doctor and you tell them information about you is documented, especially like with a counselor, psychiatrist, and then they can actually subpoena them records. That's where the 90-day discovery comes in at, and they can subpoena them records, and from them records they can see where this person cannot come with this lawsuit, this claim, because they have a history of having unprotected sex or possibly been infected before, or they're on this medication and things like that, where they can use and the court of law, especially in a civil case, especially when they're civil suing for damages and things like that, because they're not suing criminal. They're not trying to put him behind bars. Now, if they went after Usher criminally, it'll be more likely that the judge would hear the case immediately, and also jurors might actually say, okay, they're not about the money. They are about being affected by this disease, which is herpes. And then on top of that, once you are criminally found guilty, you also will be found, the plaintiff can also sue for damages. As when damages come in, the same damages that they're suing now, they can sue both. But it's kind of hard to prove, the criminal aspect of it, especially if you have unclean hands. So that's why it makes sense that he's using unclean hands as a document to use to throw out this case. And also it makes sense that these plaintiffs are not actually going after him criminally, because you can go after someone criminally and civilly. You can get both judgments actually, but they're not going after the criminal, because it has to be on a reasonable doubt, and you have to really prove it, as you have to have more sustainable evidence as well. And then on top of that, you can actually get both. So like say for example someone infected you with herpes and they do have a lot of money, and you have proof that they infected you with herpes, you can go after them criminal and say, hey, I want them to put them behind bars for that. And once they're found guilty, then you can also sue for damages as well. Not after, at the same time, because you can say, hey, listen, this is my medical records, this is what I've been going through, this is the mental things I have been suffering, this is the PTSD I'm suffering from, the depression, anxiety disorder, I'm not able to sleep, all that type of stuff will all come into one, and you can get both. But these people are only suing for civil, they're only suing for money. So it's a little bit more easier for the case to be not heard either, because they have to come with the evidence. And so if you can't come with the evidence criminally, and then you're only coming from money, most people will, okay, so now you have to go through these steps and show, okay, civilly, how is this person responsible? Okay, responsible for this. Now we get into all the medical and the medical aspects of the situation. Can you prove that he actually gave you herpes? Can you prove when you actually was infected? Do you see a doctor on a regular basis? Say if you slept with Usher in 2013, but you haven't seen a doctor since you heard in 2017 that he got herpes. So between that time, you could have got infected by anybody. And so that's why you can't take it to a criminal court, because you don't have that much evidence. But in the civil matter, if you possibly can prove it, possibly with like text messages, like hearsay evidence, or something that where you can pressure, the defendant to settle. So I believe that since Usher settled with the first victim, that everybody thought that he was going to settle real quick, but he's not settling right now. He's ready to go to court. So now I believe that the defendants are kind of like shaking in their boots, because they need to have the evidence to be produced. They thought it was going to be a payout because the first victim got $1.2 million. So they was thinking, they know they're not going to, the lady that's suing from Georgia, she's not going to get 20 million. She's probably going to get, the most 2 or 3 million or whatever. Especially, we don't even know how long she says that she was infected, and if she can prove that she was infected by Usher. And also is her I had so much pasta, but wheat pasta, and then I made my own sauce with organic tomatoes and all that other stuff. So with that, and I had avocado too, that was good. So, and I put cayenne pepper on top of it so it can increase my metabolism so I can lose weight. So with that situation, they thought that he was going to settle out, and the insurance company thought so too. So now it seems like, this recent interview that Cortisha did, and I mean that Mr. Sharpton did, and also the lady that did with what's her name, the singer or whatever her name is, that the other woman is suing for $20 million. The lawsuit that she actually, the interview she did with what's her name, the singer from R&B Divas, I just forgot her, Angie Stone. With Angie Stone, it seems like they was with her doing that, Angie Stone coming out and Dan Cortisha coming out Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday this week, seems like they were trying to put the pressure on Usher, to settle these cases, because a lot of people were saying, I would just settle for this to go away. And since he's not settling, and it says right here that if this is actually true that he's not settling, so now they have to really, come with the evidence, because it's not just going to be a grandstand. And plus, Usher's insurance companies, the two insurance company that tried General and Meta and Marina tried to a Marine tried to drop Usher as a client. They're not able to drop him as a client. So that means that Usher does have a legal standing, and so now the insurance company is pushing to as well. So you got the 90-day doctrine. So it seems like they're trying to bully Usher into settling quick, because nobody really wants to go to court. Usher doesn't want to go to court. They don't want to go to court, especially if you don't have the evidence, especially if you can't prove that you actually had sex with him, especially if you can't prove that he was actually at the same place at the same damn time. So, not saying that, I'm just looking at the legal aspect of this. I have a bunch of playlists, so I do address, like, spreading herpes and spreading diseases is absolutely wrong. But I'm just looking at the legal aspect, because, it's very terrible that when someone just file a lawsuit against you and get on all these, have a public, conference, and get on all types of media websites and say you gave them this, they have that about you, and then it really sucks, and then your character is diminished, and it crumbles right before your eyes, especially if you've been building your legacy since you was a child until now, and then it only takes a handful of people to come in and try to destroy what you have built. Is horrifying. It's terrible, especially if the claims are not true. There's no legal evidence that's saying Usher has herpes. There's no legal evidence that we know of that's been put out here, because I believe that there actually was. It had already been out here. Because this is the biggest story. All these big websites, these big entertainment websites and shows that got the millions behind them would have paid for that information. Because the first information that we did get was from, the first lawsuit. He just settled with her. It wasn't like he was ordered to. It wasn't like he said he had herpes or whatever. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But So you guys tell me so far, what do you think about all the situation? What do you think about what's going on with, the Usher situation and all these different stories coming out? But now Usher is actually saying that he did not sleep with these people, and there's no way that they got herpes from him. So I didn't even finish going over the last the last of TMC document, because I was too busy running my mouth. I was running my mouth. Let's see if it comes right up. It kind of comes right up. I know when Usher heard that Mrs. Shopton said that, she got a videotape of him, I know he was just too through. I know he got on the phone with his attorneys. I was like, yo, listen, we got to do something. Forget this 90-day discovery. This woman is out here saying that I allowed her to video record me. I know he was too through. I know why this was pressed through, and his attorneys must have been horrified too as well. So it says, I'll go back. The three plaintiffs cannot win because they have unclean hands. That means he's alleging that they did something wrong. Throughout, it's not specific. So he's alleging that they did something wrong. It could be anything. It could be like they lied. It could be like they have They sold false stories. Maybe they tried to blackmail him. Maybe they tried to solicit money from him. Maybe they already have herpes, or maybe he told them that he did have herpes. So how did he expose them? But at the beginning of the document, it says that he claims that he was never involved with them sexually, ever, any sexual contact. So some way, somehow they have unclean hands, and it could be just lies. And it's not specific, because we don't know what actually his lawyers actually put in the document. But he's saying that they did something that was wrong, all three of them. So, but I don't know because everyone was saying that Lisa Bloom, she has, Mrs. Sharpton, and she has the male client. She has another female client. Now, if they're all if she filed them all as one, it seemed like when I read the first document that she filed with the court that was all together, it seemed like it was all at once, unless they put it all together in a PDF form for us to read. But it seemed like they filed them all together. So, like, if one get off, right, if one case is thrown out, don't the other two need to be thrown out? And are they going to be thrown out with prejudice? That's what I'm assuming, because, like, usually if a person, if if they try three people together and one is found innocent, usually all three of them are found innocent. One's found guilty, usually all three of them are found guilty. If the case is thrown out, if one case is thrown out, all the cases are thrown out, because they're a collective. It's supposed to be exactly one case. So I don't know if that's it, if Corticia's unclean hands affected the other two cases. I'm not sure. We'll find out what happened. We'll find out sooner or later. I thought it was going to be around January because of the 90-day discovery period, but I guess not. I guess Usher and his attorney was like, this is too much. Usher's wife was like, this is too much. And so then it goes on, and this Usher claims the two women and the man don't have a legal claim because anything Usher might have done was unintentionally. So Usher claims the two women and the man don't have a legal claim because anything Usher might have done was unintentionally. So I don't know if this is just another legal defense that they're throwing to in as well, with the unclean doctrine, unclean hands, and also saying that he never had any sexual contact with these people at all. So what do they do? Drink his blood? What's going on? So they're saying Usher did not intentionally affect any of these people, because also in the California law, if you intentionally infect someone, that's even more money that your clients can get. I mean, the plaintiffs can get from the defendant. And so he's saying that he didn't do anything unintentionally. So he could actually be talking about the other two people, which is the man and the woman. He goes, the information, if he had herpes, he did not know at the time. So that means Usher probably didn't know he had herpes at all. I guess that's what they're saying. But the first person that he settled with, after that, these people came after, I believe, unless they were before the first settlement. So he might have not known that he had herpes before the first settlement that he had. And he paid out of pocket. He didn't use his insurance company. It wasn't a claim, so it didn't go to court. So that's why the insurance company was trying to pull out of the Georgia lawsuit case, because they also said that they didn't know that he paid this other person, the first lawsuit person, the $1.2 million, the first plaintiff or whatever. So basically, it seems like these people could have been before the first settlement. That would be the only way, because after that settlement and then forward, even though if he didn't get tested or not, someone told him that they believed that he infected him with herpes, and so from that point on, they should get tested. Usually when you go to the doctors, or and you get tested for an STD, what I believe, right, that you got to tell them who your partners are, right? Don't they? I don't know if they do that for herpes. So the health department can contact the people that you infected, so to tell them to get tested, right? So I don't know. I never had no STD, so I don't know how the process goes, but I'm assuming from just being in the social services field, because I don't deal with this kind of stuff anymore. So so it could have been before. And then Usher could also say that the first plaintiff, he didn't believe that she was telling the truth. He believed that she was lying to him because she wanted to get money from him. And plus, if she had sex with him after he settled with her, he settled and gave her the money, that's proof that he didn't believe that he had herpes. So it's a lot that can be interpreted, because we don't have the documents. And it goes, and finally he says, if he had sex with them, they assume the risk. Again, the information is that they assume the risk of contracting a STD. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm out. Peace. How long is this video? I bet it's too long. Peace. I'm out. And I'm sorry for the lagging of the video. But anyways, I want to say thank you to my peeps. I appreciate y'all rocking with your